Guardians.
We'll all fly away together into the forever. I am Groot.
I know who you are already!
I think you're just making it sad.
Knock it off!
Hello, all you beautiful people. My name is Travis, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. What do you get when you cross the island of Dr. Moreau with Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and the sweet serenades of a Zune playlist? You get the third act in Marvel's space opera trilogy starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Sean Gunn, Chukwudi Iwuji, Will Poulter, Elizabeth Debicki, Maria Bakalova, and Sylvester Stallone in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know before watching Marvel Studios' 32nd film and 42nd chapter. Whether this is the very first MCU property you've been introduced to, or you're just a casual viewer of the series and need a quick brushing up, I'm here to fill you in on everything that's come before. Let's begin. So I can't truly dissect the preludes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 without first explaining one important matter, that being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU. A collection of, so far, 41 independent yet cleverly woven and interlinked properties that begin with Iron Man in 2008 and has journeyed through until Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in 2023. Alright, so I won't get into the minutiae of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie plots too much with this recap, but I do just want to acknowledge what makes the Guardians films stand apart from other MCU entries, and that is writer-director James Gunn's uncanny ability to breathe such rich life into these comic book characters and make you care about and love each one. Case in point, I guarantee you've never been more emotionally invested in a talking tree until after you have watched the first Guardians of the Galaxy, or Pocahontas. But James Gunn knows that the story doesn't happen to the characters happen to the story. At the end of the day, the Guardians movies are about the family you choose, and that family just so happens to be a bunch of weird, wacky, wonderful, and organic characters who always save the galaxy and defeat the evildoers, even at great personal cost. So, just running down the list here of exactly who makes up our current roster of the Guardians family. Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
The official, not official leader of the Guardians. As a very recently orphaned child, Peter was kidnapped from Earth by space pirates, which is like the coolest kind of pirate, and grew up to become a sort of Han Solo meets Marty McFly, adorable swashbuckler of the stars, oozing 80s Earth nostalgia and doing so to a couple of awesome mixes. After befriending and leading an oddball group of misfits who go about saving the galaxy on a movie-to-movie basis, thanks in some part to some legendary dance moves, Star-Lord falls hard for one Guardian in particular, Gamora.
I'm gonna die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy.
The deadly warrior and adopted daughter of a once infamous Mad Titan, Gamora severed ties with her past the first chance she got, trading her insane asylum family for an insanely awesome one. Although she has an occasional sweet side, Gamora makes it instantly clear in every situation that she is all business and no play. Whether it's in the form of a sword, a giant machine gun, a knife to the throat, or a knee to the Zarg nuts. Keeping her in check and acting as a constant reminder of her dark past is her sister, Nebula. The Helga Pataki to Gamora's Olga Pataki, Nebula grew up in Gamora's perfect and inescapable sister shadow, being both emotionally and physically torn apart by their aforementioned Mad Titan father, to the point where Nebula became a full-blown cyborg. It also took her a red-hot minute, but Nebula eventually saw the light and went from Guardians bad guy to Guardians badass and aided the team against evil forces with her psychopathic know-how. The only other Guardian, however, to rival Nebula's perpetual animosity and infinite rage would be Groot.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
That's right.
I am Groot.
Kidding. Groot is the GOAT. Filling the role of the sentient alien tree of the team, Groot is gifted with a limited vocabulary but always has something pretty insightful to say.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Is he capable of impaling and murdering 5 dudes at once? Absolutely. Does he possess the innocence and protective nature of a golden retriever? Absolutely. Groot's role and attitude amongst the Guardians differs from movie to movie depending on his size. We've seen him go from majestic giving tree, to bratty sapling, to angsty teen, to swole sweetheart. No matter his size though, Groot would be incomplete without his partner in crime, Rocket.
I have sensitive nipples.
My nipples hurt. Oh, goodness me.
the other official, not official leader of the Guardians. An abrasive, wisecracking, machine gun-loving, bomb-building smartass in the form of a talking raccoon, Rocket is, in his own opinion, also the leader of the group, which puts him directly at egotistical odds with Star-Lord. As apathetic as Rocket can come across sometimes, given James Gunn's writing and Bradley Cooper's acting, you've never been more emotionally invested in a raccoon before until you've watched these films. Or Pocahontas.
You like it, eh?
Rocket may look cute and cuddly, but the cutest and cuddliest Guardian would, of course, have to be Cosmo.
What?
I refuse to do any more work while you demean me.
The goodest and bestest of all Soviet space hounds. Cosmo actually holds the title of newest Guardian. Considering most of her screen time is seen in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, Cosmo first appeared momentarily in the first Guardians film in a kind of museum full of rare species, fauna, and relics located inside a giant alien noggin called Nowhere, which is actually the current Guardians HQ. On top of being best girl pup, Cosmo also excels at telekinesis, speaking, for real speaking,
We love you, Kevin Bacon.
and giving the best Christmas gifts. Also famous for their gift giving is Mantis.
The Krabby Puppy's so cute, he makes me wanna die.
A little odd, a little shy, and a little awkward, Mantis is probably the most maternal of all of the Guardians. This is due in part to her empathic abilities to sense others' feelings by simply touching them, something she very much enjoys doing as she has spent most of her existence alone on a psychedelic acid-trip planet, having no emotional connection with anyone except an evil Kurt Russell god, who she oddly enough shares as a father-in with Peter Quill's Star-Lord, making the two half-siblings. Giving Mantis a run for her socially awkward money, however, would be, of course, Drax, the well-spoken muscle of the team. Although his brute strength, serious demeanor, and warrior mentality make him a team standout, his likability factor lies especially in his calm and humorous nature. Coupled within this duality is Drax's quite literal understanding of practically everything. Even with all that intensity and resilience, he's still no match for his greatest enemy, metaphors.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
Social awkwardness aside, at the end of the day, you can't say Drax isn't as loyal as they come. He never gives his safety a second thought if it means helping his friends. And sharing in that spotlight of loyalty is Kraglin.
I was talking about like a pretty necklace or a nice hat, you know, something make the other girls go, ooh, that's nice.
Kind of the biker bar buddy you'd enjoy having drinks and causing a ruckus with. Being actually one of the space pirates who abducted Peter Quill from Earth years ago, Kraglin served as first mate to that ship's captain, Yondu, a very cool, very blue Michael Rooker who essentially became Star-Lord's surrogate space father. After making the ultimate sacrifice play at the end of Guardians 2, Yondu posthumously gifted his super awesome flying arrow tech to Kraglin that would grant him the ability to mind control the arrow using the dorsal fin worn on his head, with varying degrees of success. So those are our ragtag motley crew of misfit desperados going into Volume 3. Now, narratively speaking, this third entry seems to be a culmination of 3 previous storylines that left us asking questions. The first storyline, Rocket's backstory. Speckled into certain scenes throughout the first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films are indications of Rocket's traumatic past. Judging by the scenes where it's mentioned, it's strongly implied that Rocket has gone through some shit. We do know that he has some kind of cybernetic enhancement surgically implanted into his body. Rocket is also not only aware of the fact that he has been made into something bizarre and abnormal, but that he resents this trauma and himself for it.
Well, I didn't ask to get made. I didn't ask to be torn apart and put back together over and over and turned into some little monster.
The trailers for Volume 3 have made it clear we will get a very definitive understanding into this. The second storyline is the fallout of Gamora'S death. Yes, in case you missed out on or forgot the global event that was Avengers Infinity War, the Guardians' fiercest warrior Gamora was one of many heroes in that film to bite the dust, no pun intended. Long story short, Gamora was sacrificed to aid in that film's villain's plan. But unlike most heroes who were resurrected at the end of the follow-up film, Gamora stayed dead due to movie sacrifice rules and logic. Long story short again, we did however have an alternate universe Gamora timeline hop into our main MCU timeline. The Gamora we now currently have in the MCU is a Gamora that has not experienced the events of Guardians 1, Guardians 2, or Infinity War. All of that character development built up over 4 years and 3 movies is just gone now. The current Gamora we have doesn't know her Guardians family, or their adventures, or their relationships. We last saw this alternate Gamora piecing out in the background at the end of Avengers Endgame, leaving behind a very heart-sick Star-Lord. The third and final storyline bearing some weight going forward is that of a particular mid-credits scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. At the beginning of that film, the Guardians are hired by a race of snobby, golden, genetically engineered elitist pricks called the Sovereign to fight off a nasty space octopus. After doing so and parting ways, the Guardians are unexpectedly pursued and attacked by the Sovereign after realizing that Rocket stole some very powerful batteries of all things from them. Following a couple more failed attempts to extinguish our heroes, the Sovereign's leader, Aisha, plots her revenge in that film's mid-credits scene. As she licks her wounds, the easily offended Aisha gazes upon a shiny golden cocoon, a mysterious birthing pod containing a stronger, superior, and more evolved Sovereign being whose purpose will someday be to do some serious Guardian hide tanning.
I think I shall call him Adam.
It's these three plots that will come to a head in this third film that will mark the conclusion to not only the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, but its characters as well. In the same way that Avengers Endgame closed the book on the original 6 Avengers, this film will act as the final chapter to this iteration of Guardians characters. In other words, maybe bring some tissues. For the condensed yet definitive Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 experience, I would recommend checking out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Alright, all you cool cats, that is the story so far. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Every view and every subscription seriously means the world. If you enjoyed anything about this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and stay caught up with the always expanding MCU. That will let me know how incredibly awesome you are. You'll see a new video from me shortly before any new MCU movie, series, or special debuts. That being said, please enjoy Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.